What's up, guys? Bachata Rockstar here once again with Star Realms Replay, and we got a really cool game here that attempts to answer the question: is there such a thing as too much scrapping? Maybe, maybe not. It honestly depends on what kind of deck you have made. Let's take a look at this game and this awesome comeback that we're about to make. Here we go. Alrighty. First things first, our opponent drops 3. First mistake I think he makes here. I think you have to get Patrol Boat. There's an exchange point out here. This gives you 2 trade. These combo together really well. Patrol Boat is an excellent card in and of itself. That being said, you've got 2 major drops. You got the exchange point, you've got the factory world. You want to be able to go after it. Stellar Reef is out there too. There's always explorers. You're going to want to try to build up to those things. However, by leaving Patrol Boat out there, you have not only given me a potential scrapper, you've also denied yourself an opportunity to get trade right away. As the first player, you have access to your resources first. And in this case, having access to trade first is really, really important because it'll give you access to the bigger cards first. You want to press your first turn advantage, and this is a way to do it. I think this is actually a pretty clear mistake on Skofolo's part. That being said, he is a very good player, so let's not say that he's out of this game by any means. But I do think this is a mistake. We always want to consider where we are, first or second, what kind of deck we're probably making or are trying to make in the future, and what is our goal? What are we aiming for? What are we trying to achieve with our game plan? And that starts on the very first turn. A lot of people don't think about their game plans until a couple of turns in. And honestly, that's where the best players get their advantage. They're thinking ahead immediately. All right. But it is what it is. So we're not going to miss this opportunity. We got 4 trade. We're going to get Patrol Boat. We get Stellar Reef. Now, if we had 5 trade, I think Patrol Boat, Patrol Cutter would have been the way to go. It would have given you more trade. You could start forming a nice blue-red deck. It potentially gives you a scrapper. And while the base is really nice, considering our opponent has picked up a Patrol Boat, the damage absorption is pretty good, but the likelihood of it staying out is not really that high. Like, it's going to be hard for us to play Stellar Reef, get the trade, and then have it live again, so it gives us a trade edge on the next turn. So it's better to just maximize your trade and maximize your damage potential to go Patrol Boat, Patrol Cutter. But in this case, since we only have 4, easy look. Stellar Reef, Patrol Boat. Patrol Bot, excuse me. Some people would say maybe get the Explorer. I would argue again, because Stellar Reef has the potential to live and to stay out there, it's a little bit better than the Explorer. And when you scrap it, it scraps for 3, but you do get a little bit of a trade deficit. However, Stellar Reef is a better addition to your deck and sticks around longer, and oftentimes will absorb those last couple of points of damage that would have killed you, but instead keep you alive. So, alrighty. Boom. Boom. Yep. Easy play. Easy decision. So my opponent already has Patrol Boat. Right? He's seen me pick up a base. He's seen me pick up Patrol Bot. So the question here is, what are you trying to do? Right? If you want to maximize trade, you go Orbital Shuttle. If you want to get some trade, some attack, a little bit of healing, you go Patrol Cutter. I think it's a bit of a wash here, but seeing as how we flipped another 6-drop, maybe you just want to try to get as much trade as you possibly can and go with the Orbital Shuttle. But there's something to be said about, you know, pairing up Patrol Cutter and Patrol Boat together. Get a ton of healing, get a lot of good damage, get a little bit of trade together. We're thinking about, you know, and they will activate each other. So in this case now, I think this is I think it's a good play. I think either decision is fine. Orbital Shuttle to try to get the big stuff. Patrol Cutter still helps you get the big stuff. I think either one is fine. That being said, now that my opponent has done this, he's clearly indicated he's going with a heavy blue strategy, a heavy trade strategy, and a heavy healing strategy. So my decisions from here on out are probably going to be geared towards beating that. which typically is going to mean getting as much damage as possible and stealing away bases. Usually decks like this have trouble getting through bases because they typically don't have a ton of damage. They typically have a ton of trade and a ton of healing, which can delay the game until the point to where you can acquire damage. So by me acquiring damage and by me stealing bases away, I'm keeping the two things that would give him a chance to really utilize and really like exploit his trade edge and his healing edge. Yeah, so I think getting the Needle Lancer here is the way to go. Now, I realize too, Orbital Shuttle is a great card. It has expensive stuff on here, but we're pretty much going to be trying to acquire as much damage as we can and as much bases as we can, with damage taking priority because we want to whittle down his life total faster than he can heal up. Yeah, plus Needle Lancer is just a great card. It combos with everything. It allows you to if it allies, it can copy the ally of another card, and that ends up being super powerful a lot of the time, especially if you deck build properly. So he plays 6 and he gets the freaking Frontier Station? What? I think this is a mistake. Exchange Point has the potential to scrap. Frontier Station does not. It's 3 more damage, but it's one more damage, but it's also 1 less HP. Yes, it blocks, but Exchange Point to me is a much better card because of the style of deck that skofolo is playing. He's playing a long deck, he's playing a trade heavy deck, he's playing a healing heavy deck. You want a card like Exchange Point because it's essentially healing for 7, and it potentially gives you scrap, which will make your deck more efficient, which is another vector that you could try to win the game on that isn't as reliant on the trade row. Well, so he's done that. Ooh, draws 3 cards. Oh, wow. That's big. I wonder if he would have been able to get Factory World. Nope. So we're going to draw 3. And sitting on 5 with a Needle Lancer, I think this is a pretty easy Orbital Shuttle fighter base combo. The fighter base will combo our Needle Lancer, which will allow us to potentially copy the fighter base twice. The Orbital Shuttle will give us 3 trade. We've already picked up a base, and remember our goal is to keep bases away from our opponent. So being able to continue with using bases to our advantage, and by keeping it away from our opponent, Orbital Shuttle is actually going to play into that. So not only are we taking bases away from our opponent to try to keep him from utilizing a base strategy, if you do that enough times, you just become a base deck. And since we're probably going to become a base deck because we're taking bases away from our opponent, getting the Orbital Shuttle will enhance our base strategy. It's kind of nice. Hate buying eventually becomes your strategy. Or, we just do that instead. This is fine too. It is a base. It will allow us to trade up to get Exchange Point or Fractal World, but I do think it is I think it is the worst play. And he ends up getting Orbital Shuttle. Man, that's unfortunate. Orbital Shuttle Smuggler. Oh, he draws 2 cards. Okay, maybe not. Let's see what he does. Ooh, and he gets to shuffle too. Wow, that was pretty lucky of him. Gets the Smuggler, gets an Explorer. Yeah, this is fine. These are all good plays. Again, he is clearly gunning for Factory World here. It would be nice if we had some sort of like trade row scrapper to just get rid of it, but since we don't, we just kind of got to do with what we've got here. But fortunately, we drew pretty damn good. We're able to pick up Exchange Point. Now we have that trade row scrapper that I was just talking about. Hopefully, we can scrap Factory World away from him later on. This is our second base. It's a base that combos with Stellar Reef. I'm glad we bought that now. Things are looking good. We're down in life total, right? So that's unfortunate. So we're going to have to figure out a way to not die as well. But I still feel pretty comfortable because he doesn't have a ton of damage. Again, he's mostly healing. He's mostly trade. I think we're going to be all right, but we do have to start thinking about that right now. But that's a worry for a little bit farther in the future. So picks up the frontier station, and he ends up spending the 3 to kill the stellar reef. Huh. Um, I think this is a mistake as well. I actually think him leaving the stellar reef up would have been fine, because then he could have spent 2 additional trade to get the infested moon and keep that away from me. Infested moon would be really good with my deck, especially if I pick up a few more blobs. It'd be really good for his deck too. It's another base. It's a base that can sit behind the frontier station. And honestly, even if Stellar Reef is out there, the odds of me getting Factory World are not that high, and the rest of the stuff out here is not really that good. So you're not necessarily missing out by letting me have Stellar Reef there for a while. That being said, it's usually good to kill bases, and he's still got 5 trades, so he can still pick up a fighter base or a customs frigate here. Yeah, so he does end up getting the fighter base. Oh, and forget the name of that card. Cargo Rocket. Oh, yeah, and Cargo Rocket's good. It'll let him top deck a ship if he picks that up later. Yeah, this is good. You know, it furthers his strategy. I think this is fine. Again, he does have to start thinking about turning the corner. He should be thinking about trying to kill me now instead of just making his deck more red-blue, you know. Oh, wow, look at this. This is kind of a bad... Well, we pick up a base, so that's still pretty good. But we aren't able to kill his frontier station, which gives him a chance at Factory World here. Man, we're going to have to get pretty... Oh, God! Why? Why? Ah. Okay, so this is bad. This is incredibly bad. However, he's still got 2 turns before he gets it. So maybe we can kill him or get him really far down before then? Fingers crossed. I don't know. So here's fine. We scrap. We only have 2 trade. I want to keep this bioform around because it combos with the exchange point. I want to be able to keep scrapping. I want to be able to keep getting rid of cards in the trade row. He scraps for 3. He can't deal anything. He brings me down to 32. This is fine. This was actually the sort of like the bad turn that we were kind of hoping for. Right? Like the fact that we're going to be able now to drop 3 bases and have him out there is really, really good. Because again, he doesn't have a ton of damage. You know, he is mostly trade. He is mostly healing. He has a few bases here or there. But like, for the most part, he's playing relatively defensively. And when someone's playing defensively, if you can set up a lot of defense, that gives you a huge advantage. And look, now we're able to scrap 2 cards. We're able to pick up Infested Moon, which is fantastic. We've got several blob bases now. So he's able to only kill one of our bases. This is, again, why Exchange Point is so good. He does heal up a ton, so we are going to, again, like I said, we're going to have to figure out a way to kill him. And then he buys Frontier, what is this? Frontier Ferry. This is a good buy, too. Again, now he can go for Capital World, he can go for Lookout Port, and it's a base destroyer, so he'll be able to destroy that. Granted, he'll only be able to do it one time, but this is a good purchase. I'm a fan of it. But we're still in a good position, so we are going to have to start pushing our scrap edge and our base edge. Yep, there it is. You know, we got a scrapper here, we got a scrapper here. This can combo to get us another scrap. Yeah, we're becoming very efficient now. Oh, wow. He has another bad turn. Look at this. Again, he's not able to change exchange board. That card is so strong when it sits out there. And we get 3 scraps. Now our deck is incredibly efficient. So he's going to have to draw really, really well. Are we out of the woods? No. But what we've done by making our deck this efficient and this strong is that he has to have a good turn every turn. And because he's way less efficient than us, he's gonna have turns that are just kind of bad and will allow us to push our advantage. See, even in a turn like this, right? He drops 8, he gets capital roll. This seems terrible. But look, he doesn't even have enough damage to kill exchange point. He does 1 damage to me. Puts two 8 drops into play. 2 8 drops into play. And does 1 damage to me. He's in a bad spot. Even though it doesn't seem like it. He's in a bad spot. We're coming after him now. Boom, scrap. Boom, draw. Boom, draw again. Boom, scrap again. Boom, draw again. Boom, boom, boom. And it's over. This game is over. It may not seem like it, but this game is over. We're going to draw our whole deck. We're going to drop 30 on him every time. There's no way he can heal up enough for that. So look what happens. He spends all his resources to kill everything. And then we get it all back next turn. And now he has to have a good turn here. He has to have a good turn here. And he doesn't. And we're set up again. And he's 2 turns away from death. Maybe even 1. Yeah, 2 turns. So, if he doesn't have 20 damage, we win. And he doesn't. See? This is the problem when your deck is inefficient. And now we just draw everything and win the game. He got 2 8 drops. He got a factory world and a capital world. He had a ton of trade. He had a ton of healing. He still lost. What was his mistake? No efficiency. None. He had almost no scrap. I had all the scrap. And this is how powerful scrap is. I know it seems like a simple lesson, but I really want to emphasize this point. Every deck is better with a little bit of scrap in it, especially the earlier you can get it. Even just getting yourself down to 8 starters instead of 10 is so big because it increases the likelihood that you're going to have a good turn. And you notice what happens is my turns got better and better and better and better, and his turns got okay. Some were really good, some were pretty bad. And when you have like 1 or 2 bad turns, that's usually enough for a really efficient deck to press its advantage enough to the point to where you're just not going to win. You know, he had 60-something life at one point, but it didn't matter. Came all the way back, smashed him in the face. And again, this is why efficiency is so important. So if there's anything you take from this game, is pay attention to the strategy of your opponent and figure out what's going to beat him. And oftentimes, it's efficiency that is going to do it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see y'all later.